Hi, I just wanted to give you a quick walkthrough of something I've been working on over the last couple days. If you're an AWS user and you've had trouble analyzing your cost data from the cost and usage report, then this is for you. Across companies, the schemas coming back from the exports from this report can vary widely depending on proprietary configurations. Like, for example, how the company handles resource tagging. But even within the same company, across exports, this schema can vary depending on per export configurations, like whether or not to explode map columns, for instance. This creates a real problem when you're trying to analyze across files. So, this project aims to solve that by taking all those export files with different schemas into one directory, unifying those schemas, and then dynamically generating YAML files to populate a real project based on configurations that you set, like the cost you care about, for instance. And then the dashboards that render are based on your data. If you're unfamiliar with Rill, Rill is a lightning fast dashboarding tool. And since they just released their MCP server, it can easily connect to external sources and serve as a lightweight modeling or semantics layer. It's a really great product. I've been doing some work for them over the last couple weeks through Twing and really enjoying the product and the team. Also, I don't want to take credit for the idea of this project. That credit would go to Twing's founder and CEO, Dan Goldin. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this project clean and we'll take you from the beginning. And through the magic of editing, we now have an empty Rill project. I just wanted to show you it's empty. We're going to run the sh script with the help flag. So I can show you dim prefixes. If your export data had map columns, this will be the column name. When the export data goes through its schema unification step, all those map columns get exploded by default and become prefixes to the new column names based on their key name. This is the default behavior when you explode the columns on export as well, so that just unifies everything together. The cost call is the column name that represents the definition of cost that you care about. So we're going to run this again with some flags. This time I pick line item unblended cost for the cost call, and we're going to use the prefix product. So what it's doing now is looking through the data. It's generating based on that prefix. It's generating counts for like distinct counts, percent non-nulls, and things that it uses to decide what kinds of charts to render in the dashboard. So it started as a real project and generated YAML files for it. So it's pulling in the data now actively. The metrics file includes dimensions, but also measures based on your data. The explores file, super useful, not too impressive, but super useful. And the cost overview, let's expand this. The cost overview it comes back with every run. It's half hard-coded, but was designed to be flexible enough for most people. The product canvas generated because of the dim prefix flag we included. Our product data is not that exciting, admittedly, so our dashboard coming back is not that exciting, excuse me. But the idea is that it displays everything with filters so that you don't get any weird cells and everything is useful. So we're going to do this again, but we're also going to run it with resource tags. So it's going to do the exact same thing, but it's also going to do the same process for any columns with the prefix resource tags. So we should have an additional, oh, I didn't spell it right. Let's see, resource tags. Oh, excuse me, column separated. Excuse me, comma separated. That is how demos go. Okay. So new canvas, resource tags. That is how demos go. Okay, there we go. Just needed a moment. So in addition to percent non-nulls and distinct counts, this also takes into account distribution. So if it's such that one value accounts for 70% of the total cost, then that will go in its own cell on the left side, in this case a KPI grid with an accompanying local filter to isolate it. On the right side, we'll have an inverse local filter to keep this pie chart nice and useful. That distribution check is recursive. So if the second top column by cost accounts for 70% of the remaining cost, then it accompanies the first top column on the left side in that cell, and instead of a KPI grid, we'll get a leaderboard. And the local filters will reflect that, the local filter for the two columns, and then an inverse filter here to keep this pie chart useful. This resource tags canvas and the product canvas actually use the same template, so you can see that it is actually based on your data, what comes back. The idea is to keep each cell actually useful based on your data, no matter what that looks like. And like we said at the very beginning, the spectrum is wide for the cost and usage report. Last thing I will say is that the measures here, total unblended cost, is the denominator for our cells. That is based on the cost call that we set when we first ran this project. If you recall, it was line item unblended cost. If we had run this with line item blended cost, then we would see total blended cost here. That's not hard coded. That is tracing lineage through the metrics definition. So that's kind of cool. But again, it's only been a few days. Obviously, the sky's the limit on how detailed we can get with heuristics and AI. But we're going to open source this. If anybody wants to contribute, have any questions, just shoot me a DM. If anybody wants to take it and make it useful for themselves, that's amazing. And I also think it's just a great opportunity to get into Rill, because Rill is really great. Just became a part of our workflow at Twing. Throw some files in, pull up dashboards in seconds, and get some high-level analytics right away. So anyway, enjoy. Hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.